If you're not careful, Guild of Dungeoneering will suck you into one hell of a whirlwind romance, as it ropes you in with its magical grandeur.
This is the Guild of Dungeoneering, on a quest we're never veering. Oh, to be a Dungeoneer, swimming in pools of gold. This is the Guild of Dungeoneering, all the
It sings you its seductive siren song, followed by a ton of super catchy and well-written jingles, finally capturing you with its bread and butter, a uniquely styled approach to dungeon exploration. What makes this game so different is no dungeon starts completely built. You finish placing the pieces as you explore, each turn adding new tiles from a deck. That's right, this is actually a card game. As you build the dungeon, you collect gold, gather equipment, and battle monsters, each monster having its own unique deck. Oh, and did I mention, so do each of your dungeoneers. In fact, some dungeoneers work better in different dungeons based on what their cards can do. Beating a dungeon then brings you a good chunk of gold that can be spent on expanding your guild, which unlocks new dungeoneers and items for them to use. After you've sunk some time into this relationship, you start to realize that although it does invigorate you to some degree, it's not the same as it used to be. You're stuck wondering to yourself, where did we go wrong? This relationship feels right, but something is off, and it's hard to place how or why. And this happens after you've unlocked 4 or more dungeoneers. When you first start playing the game, the idea of losing a dungeoneer creates tension. Failing a dungeon kills your dungeoneer, and you have to wait till another dungeon attempt is made before a new dungeoneer comes in to take the place of the old one. Which sucks if it's your only magic user and the dungeon you're facing is really good at stopping physical damage. But once you've got several dungeoneers, this is no longer an issue. You'll always have someone else that maybe isn't quite as good at the dungeon, but can still hold their own. The tension of losing a dungeoneer is now gone, and as a result, the challenge of the game goes down, which normally is a good thing, but no new challenge ever comes to replace it. Another issue with the game is you regularly hear these little jingles. They are fun to listen to, but the longer you play, the more likely you will hear the same ones repeated, eventually very frequently. And some of them slowly turn from, "That's awesome," over to a, as hearing a verse for its 4th or 5th time is not as special anymore, and can get annoying. Even with some of these problems, this relationship isn't bad. In fact, it's a good one. But the issue is it slowly starts to feel stagnant. The Guild of Dungeoneering begins by amping you up with its music, jingles, and card-style dungeoneering. It gets you hungry for its content where all you want to do is consume more, which the game manages to keep doing, but it never manages to amp you up to that same level again. And that's why this game is in such a danger of a whirlwind romance. I got sucked into it. My first session I played for hours. It wasn't until the 3.5 point I started to notice its wonders and magic fading. Then no more than an hour later I was jingled out and progression felt more like a grind than anything else. If only I'd paced myself. If only I'd taken a step back and been friends first, instead of trying to dive into a deep committed relationship without getting to know it. Then the game wouldn't have lost its special nature. I now know that my relationship will never be the same again, but thankfully, we're both understanding, and after a little break, we'll be able to pick things up again. But this time as friends, hanging out a little here, hanging out a little there, and I have a feeling that things this time will last a lot longer, and we'll be great friends for a very long time. In a score of should you, I give the Guild of Dungeoneering a temporary restraining order out of 5. So you finished checking out Spentaneous, sitting right there on your Aeneas. Why not leave this video a little like? Help me take the training wheels off my bike, cause they call me the Spentaneous, yeah, I'm a winner. Invite me for food and I'll cook you chicken dinner. They say this world's full of so much hate that it's easier to kill a man than to bake a cake. Do not worry, cause that's where I come in. Subscribe to Spentaneous, cause here we're all friends. Yeah, that sounded a lot more dramatic in my head.